What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be having a little bit of a talk with you guys. There seems to be a new editing style that's kind of taking over YouTube, and it's really important to know this because it's going to save you a lot of time, and it's a lot easier to do than the editing that you've maybe been hearing about and being told to use in the past couple of years. Now, a lot of you who are on YouTube currently or starting are probably watching a ton of videos on how to edit this and that, but the style of editing that we were taught to use for YouTube was retention editing, right? And there's a few major problems with retention editing. First, let's talk about what retention editing is. Retention editing is an editing style that really took off on YouTube in the last 10 years, and pretty much if you weren't using retention editing, it was really hard to grow, really hard to hold your audience's attention. And the reason that retention editing became so popular was because the YouTube algorithm really kind of worked off of watch time, right? So you want to make sure that your viewers that are clicking on your video and watching are watching for the longest amount of time possible. So this birthed retention editing. Basically, retention editing was a style of editing in which every few seconds there was things changing or flashing or driving across the screen or jumping out of nowhere to kind of hold your audience's attention, right? Every few seconds. Now, this style of editing, while it's not extremely hard to do, it is a bit of a time sink compared to just standard editing. And what's happening now, we're seeing a shift on YouTube, right? We're starting to see a shift away from the retention editing back to the roots of like old school YouTube videos, like basically almost like you're just kind of talking to your audience and your audience is actually listening to you. You kind of build this genuine connection with the creator that you're watching videos from. And I think, going forward on this channel, I'm going to start doing a lot more videos like this with very minimal editing, just kind of talks, just us talking together, because what seems to be happening is that we're shifting back more towards this regular style of editing. And I think the reason for this is because the world has been a crazy place over the last few years, right? I would say, going on 5 years at this point, things have been a little bit crazy. We also live in an extremely digital world at this point. So naturally, humans are just kind of craving that genuine human-to-human connection. And then with using retention editing over the last few years, you start to feel like every YouTube video you watch is the same, right? If there's not a bunch of flashy stuff, if there's not jump cuts and everything's not flying across the screen every 2 or 3 seconds, people are like, oh, this creator's no good, which really isn't the truth at all. And the reason why I started this channel years and years ago was because I watched a lot of creators that talked about their gear and stuff like this, and it wasn't heavy retention editing. It was really just someone sitting there saying, hey, I bought this mouse. I really, really enjoy it. This is why I use it to play these games. Like, it feels really good. Give a little bit of specs, on the product that they're talking about. And I think that with my channel, at least going forward, I will still do some, great B-roll and stuff like that for some videos, but I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos like this where we're just having a talk, because I feel like it's very important for us to kind of build that connection up again, right? I want to build that connection with my audience. I want to feel like I'm talking to you guys and you guys are sitting there, we're sitting with a cup of coffee at opposite ends of the table, just having a chat. And I think that that's really important. And we're starting to see a shift on YouTube where that is becoming very popular. That's the new style of editing that people want to watch. And good news for everyone out there who's trying to be a YouTuber or wants to start on YouTube is that it's so much easier and less time consuming than retention editing. Retention editing takes quite a while. I've done it with a lot of my videos and they've done really well. But the issue lies within the connection. Right? Like I just said, let's recap real quick. We went through some crazy stuff over the past few years in the world. We're very digital now. Everyone's extremely digital, and people are kind of just subconsciously craving that genuine human-to-human connection. So I think it speaks volumes to be able to turn on your camera, talk into your microphone, talk to your audience or at your audience, and just have conversations like we used to do at the beginning of YouTube. This stuff is doing really well. I mean, you guys could let me know in the comments if you like this style of video as well. If you do, I'll keep doing it. If not, I won't. But I do think that we're seeing a shift, and this is going to be the new style of editing that people kind of want going forward, because it allows you to kind of feel like you get to know your creator that you're watching, right? And I get to know you guys. We get to talk in the comments, have discussions and things like that. And quite frankly, I think that this is something that's been missing. You know, retention editing is great, but everyone is doing it, right? So when we started this journey on YouTube, when I was making videos teaching you guys how to get started years ago, one of the things I always told you was, you know, try and figure out some way that you can stand out from the rest. Now, that's really hard to do with retention editing, because if we are editing videos strictly for retention, you're losing a lot of quality in there, right? And the quality that I'm talking about is your audience getting to know you, getting to watch you for you, right? That was the best thing about YouTube, is that you can build this genuine connection with your audience, and you guys can kind of know each other. You get to know people's names in the comments. And that starts to get lost, because when you're editing these videos, half of it isn't even my face or me talking to you. It's me putting flashy stuff up on the screen, or B-roll, or this or that. Whereas if we have these genuine conversations like this, I feel like the connection that you build with your audience is a little bit stronger, which in the long run is really helpful. And the fact that this is kind of shifting on YouTube, and we're moving more towards this style of editing rather than the retention style of editing, I think it's a great move, right? I mean, you could think about this in a million different ways, and no matter how you slice it and dice it, retention editing is everywhere. It's all you see. Think about Mr. Beast videos, right? Those are heavily edited for retention. That's why Mr. Beast blew up. I mean, he's at a point now where he's so big that he can post anything and it's going to get views regardless, right? But even him, you're going to notice that some of his videos lately are a lot less edited. And I think that's because of what I'm saying. There's going to be this shift on YouTube where people are kind of shifting away from retention editing more towards this like wholesome conversation style of editing. And I think I'm going to do that with some of my gear and stuff like that as well as we go forward. Things that I pick up. Hey, if I like this new set of headphones that I purchased, I'm going to just turn on the camera and start talking to you guys about it and tell you why I like it, what I'm doing with it, if it's worth the price. And I think that that is going to be a key point in starting up YouTube going forward from 2024 and on. I think that you want to find ways to build genuine connections with your audience. Everyone is now craving genuine, you know, human to human connection and contact through YouTube videos, through everything. And, you know, so if you're just starting out now, my advice to you would be yourself, right? Turn on your camera, make a cup of coffee, sit there and talk to your audience. As long as you're giving them something of value, as long as you're giving them what they clicked on the video for, I don't think the editing style is going to matter as much going forward. And we're still in this like transitional phase, right? We're in this transitional period where like people are still using a ton of retention editing, but you want to jump on this faster and sooner rather than later and get used to it. And guess what? It's so much easier. You're going to spend a lot less time editing. I can guarantee you that. So going forward on the channel, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos like this. I still will be doing my other style of videos as well, but I'm going to be putting out a lot more content like this simply because it's easier to put out. It requires a lot less editing time, and there is a market for it. People want this connection, and I want to start building up that connection with my audience again. Not that I feel like it's not there, but I do feel like we strayed away from that in the past 3 to 4 years and relied way more on retention editing than anything else. And I think that that genuine connection in the long run is more important for the health and the growth of your channel. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoy this style of video. And if you do, I'll keep doing it. If not, maybe I'll reconsider, but I do see a shift on YouTube. I've been doing a lot of research, watching a lot of videos, and it seems like this is the new style of editing that is starting to take over YouTube for sure. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll be there. There'll be a link to that in the description below the video as well. But anyways, guys, I just want you guys to all keep those hammers up, and I'll see you next time.